It's a long-awaited gold breakout, and let's kick this off with the relative strength indicator on GLD just now touching overbought conditions. Now, should this be a panic? Should you worry about this? And the answer is no, because we can see overbought conditions last for longer than expected, and even if it does come back down, what you want to see is the RSI stay over 50 or hover along 50, and you've got it. So right now, relative strength indicator indicating breakout in gold. Let's take a look at the MACD. Again, the moving average crossover. You see the shorter term moving average in black crossing over the longer term one in red, and it is indeed validating. We see a breakout here, and that looks good. And of course, Momentum Timer Pro, 9 consecutive buy signals. And what are you looking for? How do you use these three together? Well, that's your trifecta. You want to see Momentum Timer Pro, the RSI, and of course the MACD all confirming a breakout. How do you sign up for MTP? There's a link in the corner above and in the description below, and it's free. And you can see this data is as of close of business Thursday, so the next report is on Tuesday, where you'll see the Friday data. All right, let's take a look at the longer term picture, and nothing but good news here for gold price. Bullish, momentum bullish above all the key moving averages. Only 9-month momentum is lagging, but that's not a significant one. You've got a 12-month breakout. That is good news. That means you're going to see everything jumping in that can in terms of all of your momentum algorithms. Let's look at the bigger picture here, because this is what the bulls are excited about, and they've got every reason to be. They fought a long, hard battle. Price now jumping above the prior level of resistance, sitting here around 1860 to 1870. The next big hurdle, where price pretty much closed on Friday, is right here at 1900. I mean, this is where the last big group of sellers were at. You see some bit of selling up here at 1950 and a little bit here also at 1950. But after that, I mean, your next destination is 2000. And from there, there's your breakout. Let's zoom into this closer picture on this and look at the 2-year. You got this huge volume profile line saying, look, buyers were adamant about where they wanted gold to go, and they put their pocketbooks with that and drove prices higher on 2-year. Look at the 1-year, beautiful, again, above all the moving averages, price flying higher. This is exactly what you want to see, and that is the story on gold. Looks like a nice breakout there. Let's look at the miners, and you remember last week I expressed some concern because you want to see the miners lead the metal. That is definitely the way it normally works. Doesn't always work that way. As you know, I was concerned about that. Boy, that concern is negated, because there's no sign that miners now are lagging behind. Look at the RSI now breaking above 50, and just briefly getting close to overbought conditions. Not a big deal. Again, as long as it stays above 50, that is fantastic on the relative strength indicator. How about the MACD? We had that crossover. Remember, it was looking a little weak there, but nope, took off. Nice positive sign there on the MACD. Same prices going higher. How about Momentum Timer Pro? You've got looks like 8 buy signals. And now the last 9 days, you've got 8 of them. That one sell signal, not a big deal. Sometimes it'll pop in there a little bit, but you've got 5 consecutive buys. Again, all 3 confirming RSI, MACD, Momentum Timer Pro. How about the bigger picture? And look at that, price bullish, momentum bullish across the moving averages. What you want to see above all the key moving averages, 1, 6, and 12 month. Those are great. Momentum strong behind those. 6 month being the most critical. 3 months is what you'd like to see pop next. 9 month is not as significant in the bigger picture of momentum trading. Let's take a look at GDX here. That was lagging, but not anymore. Look at that. This thing went straight vertical, chasing the metals higher. There it is, your 6-month volume profile. The buyers nailed this one. They came in and bought, and they did it repeatedly, got through that 1-year mark that I was concerned about last week and blasted through here. Now sitting at 34.77. A little bit of resistance there. You see some selling on Friday. Let's zoom out the bigger picture and look at that right there at the 2-year mark. I mean, this is a critical juncture for GDX. It's got to break there. The buyers got to push through this. If they do, now they're looking at 39 is the next destination. And if they can blast through there, well, then 42 will confirm that this is a beautiful long bottom. It took a long time. The buyers remain convicted. It looks like they've got it. They just got to get through this 2-year mark. I mean, let's go out to the 5-year, which should be below. So that's not even a pitch in the picture here. It's right now. All of this 2-year mark is the key move. Get up to 38, 39, and potentially sky's the limit there. So good job, Gold Bulls, on making that move happen. How about Silver, I know many people are bullish on silver as well. Tends to have a little more leverage play on gold. And let's see, RSI got above 50. Critical move here. Not oversold by any stretch of the imagination. So it's definitely got room to run on the RSI. Positive signal. How about the MACD? The crossover confirmed. It looks like the shorter term moving average gained a little lift off from the longer term. Definitely what you want to see. And of course, Momentum Timer Pro. You've got 5 consecutive buy signals. Out of the last 8 days, you have 7. Looks great. All 3 confirming that this is a good move there. How about the longer term picture? We have bulls all right across the moving averages. Momentum bullish all the way through the 50-day moving average above all critical moving averages, and but 3, 6, 9, 12-month momentum still lagging. Of course, this is what you're going to need to get some of those algorithms to jump in behind this, is to see these move higher. But let's take a look at the charts. And we'll head over to silver futures and running a little resistance here on the 2-year chart. It was just been resistance and the 200-day moving average here in tan. So some concern potentially, but the early signs, you got a cross of the 50-day in green, 100-day in blue, 21-day in red, and now running into resistance. The spot is ran into resistance before. 200-day has been a problem for gold, so you may want to watch that. Let's zoom in on the 1 year. You see up here at 26. So there's still, you've got some, if you can break through that 2-year mark, if you're bullish on silver, you can get through that. Well, then you've got to run at 26. Let's look at the 6-month volume profile. Look at that. Buyers absolutely convicted about this move. Every dip, they came in, did their part, and bought. Now they just got to get through the 200-day moving average and that 2-year volume profile line. And let's see where they got to get out of this picture is they've got to get back up into this $27, $28 price range so they can break out. That's what they've got to do. I was not convinced we were going to see this potentially happen, but look, you got 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 bottoms here. Buyers absolutely convicted. This is the buy zone, but up here's the sell zone. Got to get through that mark at 20. What is the line at? 24.17. Got to push through all the way upwards of 24. We'll just say 70 is the target they've got to get through. All right, let's move on to the dollar, which could be a problem because look at the dollar. It went to not quite an oversold condition back in April and May, but look at price kind of rallied since then. It's maintained, the RSI, look at it, notice it's pretty consistently above 50, got this little dip here and it's fought back and it's sitting right there at 50, and that is showing some signs of strength in the RSI. The price could move higher here, so positive sign on the RSI. Let's look at the MACD. We'll notice that here is convergence with the short-term and long-term moving averages here. So what you want to see is that 9-day moving average start to rally and move up, and if that does, you get some confirmation. How about Momentum Timer Pro? Out of the last 5 days, you got 3 consecutive sells. You can look at the Tuesday report and see where it's at. So right now, the MACD and Momentum Timer Pro not confirming, and the RSI is just saying, hey, it's uncertain. It hasn't made a move higher yet. But if you get all 3 jumping on board, guess where the dollar's headed? And of course, price on the 21-day moving average, bullish. It's trending higher. Momentum is bullish. 50 days, the only one that's not confirming. 50 days has not been a big deal for the dollar. We'll look at that in a moment. Still above all the key moving averages. Other than the 3-month momentum, everything's green. Let's take a look at the charts of the dollar. We'll first start out with the DXY here, and notice it's just sitting above this buy zone, and every time it gets down into the $96, $95 to $96 range, buyers show up, tags a 50-day moving average. Let's zoom out and see what we got here. Beautiful bottom pattern here. So you kind of look at this and say that won't take much for the bulls to push this back up into the 97 price range and retest this recent peak here at 97.33. Won't take much. They can break out there. Then you're looking at 98 and all the way upwards into 99. But of course, this is a beautiful pattern and it cannot be dismissed at all. Let's take a look at the volume profile. Here we are on the 2-year chart. You can see beautiful support there, validating this is indeed a bottom. I mean, this is your risk to the metals and miners. Now, it doesn't mean metals and miners certainly can't rally with the dollar. They have in the past. They certainly can. It just puts at risk. And notice where UUP sitting here right at the 1-year volume profile line. That's the issue here, is you've got sellers dominating up here, buyers right below there, very comfortable with their position, and same with the 6-month volume profile. So indeed, you've got a picture here where the dollar could break out. Look at the 10-day volume profile. It's beneath. So you can see buyers are coming in here, but they're not pushing this real hard. They're just going to see if they can wear out the sellers. Let's go on to bonds or deferred dollars. Well, here we have TLT going to oversold conditions. Now, you may have never traded bonds before, but you may want to look at this because the setup is nice. You see an oversold condition on the RSI and now starting to push higher. It needs to get through up to 50 and through. We see a bounce in price. Check out the MACD starting to cross over. Forgot to circle it, but you can see it's starting to potentially cross over here. That would be a positive indicator. And look at Momentum Time Pro, 42 consecutive sell signals. We know at some point this flips. You get a validation of all three. So right now it's not giving you a signal. It's saying you should put this on your watch list. Watch the RSI, watch the MACD, follow Momentum Time Pro. You get 3 confirming signals, and now you've got it. How about the bigger picture? Price still remains bearish across the moving averages, but momentum on them still remains positive. It's below 21, 50, and 100-day moving average. All momentum structures are negative. Everything that has sold, has sold, and that's where the opportunity comes, is where you see everybody out of a position. And the 6-month volume profile way up there. So nothing from the volume profile here probably gives us any indicator except the 10-day now giving you some signs of a bottom. So notice that when you see a bottom, it should break through a volume profile line and move higher. So let's zoom in or zoom out a little bit and see what TLT's got to do. It's got to get over this 139 mark. You see sellers here and see sellers here. It's got to get through that and then jump into this next supply zone up here at 140. That's the work cut out for bonds. Everything's going against it. But after you see a long period of selling, guess what happens? Again, sellers get exhausted. They run out of selling. And now you've got to move this thing higher. So again, look for 139 as the first move to make. Then it's got to break the 21-day moving average and then get up here into the 140s to see if they can start to flush out some of those sellers. All right, let's move on to the energy sector, our last sector we're going to look at, because if you're looking to go the opposite direction, of course, if energy starts to go down, that's bond bullish, or if you like to play the short side of the market as well, look at this. We had that oversold or overbought condition. Keep getting that backwards here in October. Overbought, remember, it can stay overbought longer than you expect. Now 50 is key here. Just because RSI is going down doesn't mean run for the fences. It could find support at 50. Notice here it came down, found support around the 50 range, and look, price didn't go down much, and then it took off. So right now 50 key point for RSI, so still positive on the RSI. Let's look at the MACD. You got one crossover, so you got still one positive signal, one negative signal out of the two so far. And remember, just because you see here back in October it crossed over, price didn't go down that much before it broke out higher. So just because you get a crossover on the MACD does not necessarily give you a ton of red flags. So this could just be a short-term move lower. And how about Momentum Time Pro? 33 days consecutive buy signals. So 2 out of the 3 are saying hold on to this if you're in it. One of them says no, but you want to put this on your watch list if you're playing the short side of the market. How about price bullish, momentum bearish? Above all key moving averages, above all the momentum trends, we already know that is all true. Let's look at XLE here. And what do you see? Beautiful 6-month volume profile putting support at 57. Price running to resistance, kind of where we said it would up here at 70, a little over 70. And look right there at that top of that volume profile line. So that's how you look at this volume profile. You see where the massive peak here is red. As it scales down, it doesn't mean it can't go over that. It just means as it gets to that little indentation there, it runs out of steam. So this is the risk that this is, of course, the top here. Still too early to call, but you'd have to see price come down. And again, even if it comes down and confirms against the 50-day moving average, it could get another boost back up. So this isn't certainly a run for the fences picture. It's still positive. And of course, energy, everyone's bullish on it, but watch the dollar there as well. And with that, I appreciate you being fans, appreciate you watching. We'll see you back tomorrow. I'm Steven Van Metre. Bye now. The content of this video is private educational information only, not intended to provide investment advice. You don't have to be construed as regulation or solicitation, harassment, security, financial instrument, or participate in particular trading strategies. Video was prepared by Steven Van Metre in personal capacity. Opinions expressed in this video that do not reflect the view of Alice Inc. or Steven Van Metre Financial.